How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Mojo Group. Mike here. You know, every time I get on the road, I always find the most unique birds. And today, I've got one built by the Soviet. Stay tuned. We're going to check out the L-29. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Mike. And if you're not new to the channel, you may already know about the Aero Delfin models, the L-29. And if you recall, about 2 or 3 years ago, we reviewed the younger brother of this airplane, which is the L-39. It's actually sitting right next to it here in all its glory. That's the L-39. What an awesome jet. But guys, this is the plane that came before the L-39, and this one has a really cool story. And guys, remember, whether you're looking for a collectible like this L-29, or you're looking for a Texan like the one across the room there, or you want an L-39 like the one over there, or perhaps you want a micro mini jet like the Sonic's jet parked here, you can find them all at aeroavion.com. To buy and sell your airplane, check out aeroavion.com. So a quick history on the L-29. These planes were built for the war. These were actual trainer jets. So fighter pilots would train these, and in some parts of the world, actually, they still use these not just for training, but also for combat, believe it or not. And so the L-29 was built in what's now known as Czech Republic for the Soviets, and about 2,500 of these planes were built. And this particular one was the second to the last plane built. I swear to God, this is the second to the last plane built out of that group. So it's unique in that way. And if I zoom in, actually, let me zoom out a little bit. Something that's unique to this plane, you can see just how long it is. It's like a freaking rocket with wings on it. And this is a 400 miles per hour airplane. And from about right here is where the engine is actually sitting in the plane. So it's basically a schlong, a long rocket, and then have wings in it, just to show you, see how just crazy the exhaust is in this thing. You do not want to be behind this plane when it fires up. And so this plane, second to the last out of the 2,500 that were built, and this one operated was in action in Romania. So this plane home to Romania, and then someone bought it and shipped it to the US. And for the last 18 years, this plane has just been sitting, eating dust, and it actually flew just a couple of days ago. They just put the wings on it, and the owner, what they plan to do with it is, one, obviously fly it, and also race with it. So the engine that's in it right now is actually going to be replaced by something bigger that's gonna make this thing go crazy. Okay, so if you think 400 miles per hour is fast, well, it's going to be going a lot faster than that. But I would say that in the fighter jet or fighter trainer world, the L-29 is actually considered very slow, at least even compared to that. That is a much sleeker airplane, more beautiful airplane, and it goes quite fast compared to this. But let me tell you a bit more about this plane, and don't mind all the stuff around it because it's being worked on right now. As I said, they literally just brought it home. I'm gonna get up here and show you what you have in the cabin, just to show you how original this thing is, because it still has all of the standard original equipment in it, including the gun sight. So these planes, you can shoot out of them. There were bombs and stuff attached to them, and I'll show you some of that cool stuff. Right now, what you're looking at here is the pilot seat, and these were ejectable. So if this was in there now, it's removed, but they have seat ejectors, for pilots. And usually what happens is the canopy will be just off, and so you have a clear roof, and boom, you push a button and you're out. But let me show you the interior. Here we are in the cabin of the L-29. If you can see, again, everything is still very original. Now, I'm gonna tell you what I know, because as you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff here, and to the green eyes, you may not understand what's, you know, what equipment is for what, but I'll tell you some of the things that I recognize, and I don't know everything in this cabin as well. And the L-29 has a seat. It's tandem seating, so you have seat here, and also you can have your co-pilot sitting behind you. And the co-pilot does have all the similar controls that you would have up front. So you've got here all of your flight controls, also gauges for the engine. You've got a middle stick that has the same levers. So this is the brakes, and you've got trigger, and I'll show you also up front. So you come here, again, seat removed. This is your control stick. This is your brakes. Now, something unique to this bird is that you can't control when it's on the ground. This is how you control the movement on the ground. So to turn, you basically use the brake. So you kind of like shimmying around, and then you open this up and you've got your gun trigger. And this is the gun sight right here. Look how cool this thing is. So if you were actually, you know, in actual battle, you'll be able to use this thing. From what I understand, or from what I was told, this is the throttle here, and there's a control here attached to this throttle also. I don't know if it's this switch or not, that actuates all of this right here for you to be able to shoot the guns and release missiles and things like that. But I don't know particularly like how much weapons or weight that this thing can carry, but in action it performed pretty well. And as you can see, it says experimental there. But let's get to the basics, at least for us green pilots. And speaking of green, you can notice that the color in this interior is green. Guys, something I've noticed with European, or I would say Czech planes, is the interior is always sort of this color compared to US made airplanes where you have gray interiors. I don't know what that is, but European planes seem to have the green interior. But anyway, back to the cockpit here. So you have your flight instruments. This is basic. You should, you know, for those who are flying, you understand what these are. And those are engine gauges. You see your fuel stuff there, RPMs, and so on and so forth. And then you have switches here. Let me get closer. Some electric switches there. That says porn. I don't know why you'd have a switch that says porn, but I need to look that up. But you've got some switches there too. And right here, I showed you earlier, this is your power lever for the throttle. And then this is not a mixture. I think this is like a fuel shut-off valve here. So you see on, off, and it says fuel. So shut the fuel off, turn it back on. This says fire. I'm not sure what that is for there, but you've got some more switches all around. And as you can see, you know, this thing is pretty naked. That's because they're working on it. And you've got those rudder pedals that are just far apart. Now, if I was flying this jet, it would take some getting used to with my feet all the way apart like that. So as you come up here, again, a lot of things are already familiar to some of you. You've got your gear indicator there. So whenever you pull up or pull down the gears, you'll be able to tell. Now, in terms of just usability, like you think of who's flying one of these. Okay, you know, obviously we're not at war right now, or maybe we are, but these are not. These are old birdies. But in other parts of the world, you still have the L-29s and the L-39s that you see there are still operating in action, and again, mostly as trainer jets. The L-39 actually, in some countries, are actually used in combat, believe it or not. But again, they're old compared to some of the new stuff that we have today. But what's going to shock you is how much these things actually cost to buy. So here we are. Let's talk some numbers. When you think of who's actually getting one of these, this is a collectible plane. And it's something that I don't know what you would fly it for, because I don't imagine this is a bird you can fly for a long time. Like a lot of jets in the same category, these are an hour, 2-hour flights maybe, because these things burn a lot of fuel. And once the standard engine is taken out and they put the bigger one, I assume it's going to burn a lot more fuel. But guess what? You're also covering a lot of ground, 500, 600 miles. Imagine if you're going 500, 600 miles per hour. So even if it's an hour plane, it can literally get you from one state to another in an hour. But how much would you pay for something like this? So if you look up anywhere online or just do your research, you see that you can find these birds for under $100,000. But here's the kicker, here's the catch. If you're gonna buy one of these, you have to either have some skills or have access to somebody who can help you bring it up to standards. It's just like buying a classic car. Folks who do well with classic cars are generally mechanics, you know, someone who knows how to work on them. So I imagine if you're buying one of these, you better know your way around fixing airplanes, or more particularly fixing jets. But again, from what I know, the owner, they picked this up, one, to fly them for racing, but also to be able to train others how to fly one of these. And if you wanted to graduate to that, you can actually get proper training in this. And it's pretty sweet. So again, 400 miles per hour is what you'll get in your speed. At that speed, you're burning about 100 gallons of fuel per hour. Again, the cost, you can scoop one of these up for less than 100,000, but chances are it's gonna need work. And a lot of them are either abandoned or they're not in the best shape possible, but you can always bring it up to speed. This particular plane still has all of its original body frame. Also, you check out that interior, all the equipment are still pretty standard. And I'm sure once they're done fixing things up, and this plane is airworthy. Again, they flew it down here. They're probably gonna throw some paint on it, make it look really nice. Now, honestly, I don't know if I can love it any more or less, because just the shape, I mean, compared to other birds in here, when I look at this plane, it just looks like just a long rocket. But we'll see. I might update you once it's all painted and looking nice. But guys, this here is the Delfin L-29, originally built for the Soviet, and you can probably find a bunch of them around the world now. It's a collectible airplane, and it's really a sweet ride. I might go for a flight in it before I leave here, but I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If this is your first time, be sure to subscribe to Mojo Grip. Also, a great way to support the channel, guys, is by becoming a member on patreon.com. You can check the link in the description, or you can become a paid member here on YouTube. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.